Is the affordable pickup truck dead? Ford doesn't think so. I don't know about that one. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I'm doing this video as part of my weekly truck news recap show where I talk about this topic and other things that happened this week. This week was a lot of Ram news because I was in Michigan driving the 2026 Ram 1500 and three-quarter ton. And that Ram 1500 had that symbol of protest badge. Yep, the Hemi is back. So let's talk about that a little bit and also this news item. I know you guys initially going to say, well, yeah, obviously the affordable truck is dead, Tim. We have $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 trucks, but that's not what I'm talking about. Let's get to this story. And sorry, today's Saturday. I usually do stuff on Fridays, as most of my audience knows who follows this weekly shows. But I was traveling yesterday all day long, so I didn't get quite to it. So I apologize for that. But I'm getting to it first thing this morning because I'm leaving for camping in about an hour. I got to get going. So let's get to the story. It's on pickuptrucktalk.com. I'm talking about the Ford Maverick. Before you click off, though, I am talking about the Ford Maverick. Hold on. I know you're like, that's not a real truck, Tim. I get it. But let's talk about this because I think it's pretty interesting because the pricing came out and I was like, really? Even the Ford Maverick has gone up a lot in pricing. So let's talk about kind of go around the horn real fast. Other stories. I drove a Ford Transit 250. Fun. Vans are fun. I got Ford dealership working with those guys over there. Have a Ram dealership lined up. Have a GM dealership. I'm going to do a lot more truck coverage this year and vans. I like doing vans. Vans are fun. I have the MagnaFlow exhaust, which was exclusive for me. Partnership with Ram Trucks. Had it on my truck for a couple months. It was fun to do that video, and I did a flyby video as well. I'll show you the link to that too with the new updates for the Ram RHO. So I have lots of exhaust sounds and lots of judgment on exhaust sounds. Kind of crazy how it works. And then we have Honda Ridgeline engine failures leads to a second 1.4 million vehicle probe. So this is the second time federal investigators have probed that engine. I've never heard of that. I've heard of a single probe where they've gone in, they've made sure the recall is done the correct way, but they're doing it again, and that's pretty crazy. But let's get to this Ford Maverick news. So pricing now is near $30,000. Wrote a whole long story because I have a whole lot of history with this truck because I remember when it first came out, I was there for the launch. I was there doing talking to engineers about it. I've driven it quite a bit. So Ford made this whole chart. They sent me this whole thing. And they made a big point of pointing out what happened this year versus last year and the change. So they're saying, look, guys, hey, the affordability number for the Ford Maverick is really the $30,000 number. If we can get below $30,000, then that's affordable. That's what Ford's saying. $30,000 or less for Ford Maverick, that's affordable. I remember when this came out and it was priced at $19,995. It was supposed to be under $20,000 was affordable. And that was 4 years ago. 4 model years ago, which in that case, so it's, so real years ago. So it's 2021 versus 2025. It was supposed to be 19,995, and now it starts at 27,145. If you think about inflation, inflation dollars are actually $22,000. So that doesn't add up either. But apparently, $30,000 is the affordable metric that they're aiming for. Okay, this is kind of crazy though. So they have a couple trucks of the Ford compact pickups, excuse me, of the Ford Maverick that are under $30,000. 28,000 for the XL Hybrid, 27,000 for the XL EcoBoost front wheel drive. They're both front wheel drives. All wheel drive, you start getting in $30,000 range. The XL, which is their base level EcoBoost all wheel drive, is 28,000, which they said was actually down $125. Woo! They saved you $125 for a 2026 model year. For when you're at $28,000, does $125 mean a whole lot? No. But this is where things go off the rails for me. They've created this Lobo package, the street racing thing, $35,000. Lariat is $38,000 for a Lariat compact pickup Maverick. Tremor is $40,000 for an off-road version of the Ford compact pickup. Lobo, which is this is their highest equipment group, is $41,000 for their fully loaded street racing kind of version of the compact pickup. And then dealer and destination fees. That's what I'm saying D&D is $1,695. It's up $100. That grows every year. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but every year the dealer and destination fees grows. And I've said that's non-negotiable. And people keep arguing. Well, not people keep arguing. There's always somebody want to argue with me in the comments. Well, you can everything's negotiable. You can negotiate that. BS. You bought a truck lately? Good luck arguing that one. I've never got a truck be able to argue away destination fees. That's in the price. It's just baked in. So I don't know. I don't know who's negotiating that way, but I've never had a chance to get that way. So that is the pricing for the 2026 Ford Maverick. $40,000 for a Tremor. I just no. No, I'd much rather go buy a Ford Ranger for that price. That's what got Ford in trouble in the first place. Was they started pricing these Ford Rangers became the same price as F-150s, and they killed they killed the Ford Ranger, thinking people would just buy the F-150s instead. And then people didn't buy the F-150s, and then so they have all this. From a business standpoint, they start blending these trucks together with price points and such, and then consumers are confused. What happened to the cheap little compact truck? It's $40,000 now. And that $27,000 price point, when you add in the dealer destination fee, $27,000 plus 16,000 or 1,600 plus taxes, you're over $30,000 again. But Ford says, quote, below the key 30,000 affordability threshold. Yeah. And they say they've made some powertrain updates. They've made trim level enhancements. They have fresh styling with new colors. And they have Ford connectivity package with a complimentary 1-year subscriptions. They've made better improvements. And then they have excuse me, a conventional spare tire is now offered as a standalone option with increased availability. So you don't get a freaking spare tire. Yeah. So what the heck happened to the cheap Ford Maverick? I'll put a link down below in the description and so you can read the rest of this article. I lay it all out for you. What the heck happened to the cheap compact truck? Because I'm sorry, but when you're starting to near $30,000 for a cheap compact truck and you're looking at $40,000 for their off-road package, that is just, I'm sorry, that's not cheap to me anymore. That's not affordable anymore. I don't understand how we start with these $20,000 trucks and go this realm. And Ford's done this before. Do you remember the F-150 Lightning? Supposed to be below $50,000, and that went away quickly. That was a lost leader. That was something they offered, and then they quickly took it away, and then increased. So yeah, it's like clickbait for those guys. People accuse me of clickbait. Have you seen Ford lately? They seem like they do this quite a bit. They offer these cheap entry price points, and then boom, price goes up. Okay, let's go over to the YouTube channel and talk about what's going on over there. And I want to go to the homepage. So I've been publishing a lot of videos over there, but I've been publishing a lot of shorts as well. So if you haven't seen these shorts yet, I've been doing a lot of Instagram and TikTok and things. And I want to point out a couple of these shorts if you get a moment today or this weekend, Labor Day weekend. So we have a lot of things going on. So if you can go to homepage and pick up Truck Talk on YouTube, if I click the right button, click on shorts, and you'll see a tab. And this works on your it'll work on your should work on your phone and should work on your desktop. But I'm going to kind of go through some shorts I have. So we talked about, I had the Ford Bronco Roadster concept. I talked about electric range towing, which I think is an interesting conversation to have. People are really talking about this more, and I think we're having really good conversations. There's one guy on Instagram who's all butthurt about EVs and how they don't work in the cold and how environmental stuff and all, whatever. Just get over that stuff. Let's talk about real practical conversations. It may not work for you. That's great. It may work for you. That's great. I don't really care. But let's have conversations about, is it cheaper to tow with an electric truck? I think that's interesting. Can you save money? Is it better as far as overall towing performance? Can you tow more confidently? Those are conversations I want to have. And I think it's interesting the comments we're getting from that video are right where I want to be. Let's have those conversations. I think that's important. And then I did went back to the archive. Been doing this quite a bit, and we talked about plastic oil pans. Remember those were a thing, and they're still a thing for certain vehicles and stuff. And people have been pointing out in that video about semi trucks. I did not realize that some semi trucks have some plastic oil pans and plastic parts, and it's been interesting. It's been interesting to see those comments. I love seeing those comments from different industries blending together. It's been interesting to see. We talked about turbocharged engines, whether they require premium fuel or not. Then we have thinner weight oils. Always a conversation, always comes up. Somebody asked me, like, ask them what kind of oil I should use in my truck. And I'm like, this video was done like 3 years ago. So I can't do that, A. And B, just look at the owner's manual. I always tell people, well, engineers are not going to give me a different answer than what's in the owner's manual. That's what they're going to go by. And then we talked about the Ram 5.7 liter Hemi is back, but it has a dipstick and the Hurricane doesn't. So it's interesting, this trend of dipsticks, no dipsticks. I don't know. We'll see how this kind of plays out. And then I have the Hurricane high output, I should say. Yeah, it's right. The 2026 Ram 1500 changes, or for the RHO specifically. I have the Canyon Lake, and then I have
This is the 2026
because I did the exhaust
Ram
note.
RHO in a new Canyon Lake exterior color. Here,
Oh.
this is the 2026
All right, I didn't mean to
Ram
scroll down there, but
RHO in a new Canyon Lake exterior color. That's pretty much what's new this year. We have the Canyon Lake exterior color. I'll show you the MagnaFlow exhaust. I have this on our long-term review
so I
vehicle.
didn't do
and I
this
have
MagnaFlow
some
exhaust well.
external
I didn't do the
flybys
no
with this
flybys.
exhaust. You can hear
It's
it
my
rumbling
fault. I
by.
forgot about it. I was
Come
going
around
to
the
do it.
back. I did a
Shoot
whole
us a video,
extensive video on our YouTube
but
channel.
I want to
Shows you
show
the
this
black
little
chrome exhaust
snippet
tips.
of this exhaust note
Hear that gurgling right there.
because I want to get it right. I want to put it in a
Let me
longer
show you
form
that
video
video
too. So just
of
want to get
it
your feedback
driving
on this
by.
and those listen to the
Hear
podcast
that
as
sweet
well.
exhaust note. Okay,
So I thought that sounded pretty good, but I've had people start argue. It's interesting with exhaust notes. I just feel like everybody has an opinion right away, and I just let that go. There's no pleasing anybody as far as that goes. So or everybody, no, everybody's gonna have an opinion. So let's go back to the full videos I put out this last week. I did a recap with the 6 months of RHO ownership. Lots of details in that. It is the least practical, most fun truck I've ever bought. I had my full video of the work truck when I drove that around this last day or so when they're doing my wife's tires for her new Ranger. I'll have a video on that coming soon. And then we have the exclusive of the Ram RHO MagnaFlow exhaust video, the Honda failures with the engines, and then this really wild V8 story where they went to a separate hemisphere, as he said, to do development because they had to get winter testing and they had to go other part of the equator to do it. I'm just gonna put it out there. It's just really interesting video on the YouTube channel about Ram 1500 V8 development that you would not believe. And the reason I had to do that was there's a lot new computer systems. They changed the electrical architecture in 2026 model year because they keep moving vehicle development forward because they have to because everything's moving forward. And it's not, and people are like, well, we don't need that in our trucks. This is not just a truck thing. This is all through this is throughout the entire company. So, this electrical architecture is all vehicles. So they got to move the trucks forward, the cars forward, SUVs forward, their vans forward, the work trucks forward. They got to move everything forward to this new architecture to work with new computers, the EVs, everything they're doing. So they can't just isolate the trucks and not improve them. That this is the whole bigger idea. And then I had a Dodge Durango Brass Monkey Hellcat, which thing was just insane. That video went out yesterday, and then I have a video going out tomorrow probably. That's going to be about the Warlock version of the Ram 1500, which is going to be about $51,000 for a pretty well-suited four-wheel drive crew cab truck with a Hemi. So if you're in between fishing and drinking some beer this weekend, maybe you have a chance to watch that. All right, so that's what I have going on for this past week at Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. And again, check out the website, pickuptrucktalk.com. Other videos up over here. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.